at 120 degrees. Now, I want to just put out there that I know that there are a lot of people that sous vide. There are a lot of people, obviously, that cook. We all have different methods and different things. So there's not sometimes there's a right and wrong way to do it. Tonight's show, this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so if you disagree, you disagree. If you don't, you know, it's fine. It's all going to come out in the end. So yeah, so that's it. So I do my research, I find my sources, and I do what I do. My kitchen, my rules, as long as the end result is safe and delicious. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take it out. Again, it's been in for 2 hours in my vacuum bag, 120 degrees. I'm going to shut her off. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put it into an ice bath. I want it to cool down a little bit before I go put it in a ripping hot pan, because we got some other things to do. So I'm going to let that cool down. It's going to shock it. It's going to bring that core temperature down. This is exactly what I want to do. So I want to try and get it to 40 degrees or close to it as possible. Stop the, not really stop the cooking, because it'll never overcook inside the sous vide. It'll just sit there and get mushy after 6 hours or whatever. We're not going to do that. And so we're going to cook these 2 steaks. So again, this one's sous vide. This one is completely dry aged raw. We're going to cook this in the pan. We're going to sear them both. First thing I want to do, this week I did a real quick corn recipe that's like a version of creamed corn that really people loved. So I figured why not do it as a side dish for the show. So you'll follow me over to the stove. We're going to get cooking some corn. Beautiful thing. We're going to talk about it. This is a recipe like most of my recipes. It's a technique that I think works really well. Need that for later. All right, so let me talk about the ingredients. So this isn't your gloppy canned cream corn, right? This is, although it does use canned corn, interestingly enough, because this is what we've got. You can't do this with frozen corn with this particular technique. You certainly can saute frozen corn with the other things that I have, but for this kind of creamed corn style, I'm using one of my favorite canned items. It's actually from Trader Joe's. It's their whole kernel corn. There's no added sugar. It's crisp. It's sweet, and no preservatives. So I really like this stuff. I like to have it around for just such an emergency. So we've got that. We've got butter, and this recipe is already on eatingwithcheferic.com. So before I continue, I just want to welcome all the YouTube people that are watching, my subscribers to YouTube. If you guys are not subscribed, go jump on YouTube and give me some Grateful Chef love on YouTube. It's really cool. Welcome. We're doing dry aged steak, cooked 2 ways, 1 sous vide, 1 in the pan, and we're making a nice side dish, corn. Everything, the recipe for the corn's available, eatingwithcheferic.com. Not the Grateful Chef. All right, so other ingredients. We've got some butter, 4 tablespoons, divided. Okay? We've got, the recipe says 2 cloves of minced garlic. With garlic, you know me. If it says 2, I'll use at least 3, sometimes maybe 4. Your kitchen, do what you like. Do what tastes good to you. So I've got 3 cloves of minced garlic in there. I've got a small onion diced, and I've got a red bell pepper. In the recipe, I use carrots. You can use carrots. The important thing is to dice these vegetables to mimic the size of a kernel of corn, so everything's the same size. I've got some parsley. I have that divided as well. We're adding it at 2 different times. I've got some salt, and I've got some heavy cream, which is an optional. So I'm going to turn my pan on. This is my carbon steel pan that I saved. I was walking in a flea market and I saw it sitting there all rusty. Cost me $5. I love it. It cooks really well. All right. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of olive oil in. A couple swirls around the pan. And I'm going to put in a pat of this butter. No spoons over here. All right. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in there. We're going to let that butter melt and start to get foamy. Help it along. So of course, if you don't want to use this much butter and oil, you don't have to. Just get a little bit in there. I like it. It all kind of emulsifies at the end. Okay, you can see that butter is foaming. I got enough butter in there. I'm going to take that out. First thing I'm putting in is my onions and my peppers.
So we've got Cade Cordonier, and he said great cookware, and Larry Palermo Jr. loves the kitchen and says good evening.
Thank you, Larry, and good evening to you, my friend.
Charlie Gomez, nice house. You guys need to talk about the cooking.
All right, so we are gonna saute the onion, and I want to just watch the heat. I don't want this to brown. I want it to be kind of just get the translucent stage.
Sherry is asking for your t-shirt as a tank top, and she wants to be a walking billboard for you.
Fantastic. Awesome. At this point, I'm just going to put, I'm going to use my Fina mill and just get a little salt in here. I got sea salt in here. Season those vegetables. So on the show, just in case, you didn't realize, I sometimes will cook at a higher temperature just to move things along a little bit. So when you make this at home, just don't rush it. It really doesn't take long for these onions to get translucent. Excuse me. But if you're going to cook it at a higher temperature, don't walk away. Just stay on top of it. So once this gets a little bit more translucent, then we're going to add our garlic, because we don't want to add it right away just in case, because garlic burns quicker. So we don't want to do that. For sure. All right, we're going to put that garlic in now. We've got some translucency going on. In goes the garlic. Give that a nice toss. Yeah, garlic goes really well on this, because what happens is when you make that sauce, when the sauce comes together, it's almost like a creamy garlic sauce. Really nice. All right, so I've incorporated the garlic in there. Make sure it's well combined. And I'm going to put in my first batch of parsley. This is fresh, chopped, curly parsley. I like curly parsley because it's got a little bit of a more robust flavor. I'm a little overzealous with the parsley. So what could be bad? Red peppers, garlic, onion, parsley, butter, olive oil. Smells amazing. All right, here comes the fun part. I'm going to take this can, and these come in water. Some of the other major brands are, just the ingredients are corn and salt, corn and water. It's awesome. So what I want to do is I want to strain out the liquid.
Put that on hold real quick. Question from Mike Hopkins. Is
Yes,
a
Mike.
aged sous vide steak? So you want to tell people what your video's on today?
Yeah, so we're doing a comparison. So I have two identical steaks cut from the same subprimal that I dry aged in my Steak Ager Pro 40. If you need information about that, it's www.thesteakager.com. And they're cut from the same subprimal. And I sous vide one, and I'm going to pan cook the other. And we're going to do a little comparison. All right, so before I have to add this, it's time sensitive. I've got this much liquid from the can. I want you to save this. This is what's making our sauce. So we're going to put about a third of it in. And I want Lynn to show you this, because I want you to see what happens. So it immediately begins to reduce and evaporate. So this is the basis of our sauce. What's happening is the sugars from the corn are starting to intensify, and the corn flavor is getting really, really delicious. All right, so that's almost all evaporated now. We're going to go with another third and give that a chance to evaporate. So here you can already see it's like a creamy sauce. How's that smell, Lynn?
It smells awesome. And what a better side than cream corn with dry aged steak.
And again, it's not that gloppy cream corn. Listen, I grew up eating that stuff, so I don't hate it. I just, you know, I like this much better. All right.
It was so good. We had it with ribs on Sunday, and we wanted to make it again tonight.
Okay, we just want this to reduce. Anytime you reduce, you're taking the moisture, the water away, and you're intensifying the flavor. So this is what you got. Want this to nicely thicken. That looks really good. It smells good too. I can smell the sugars from the corn, and it's all natural. So this is like, you know, it's a natural thickener. It's almost like when you use a can of beans. Don't throw that liquid away. That aquafaba, excuse me, is amazing. It's a great thickener. I can put a little bit more parsley in at this point. And again, if you don't like parsley, don't use parsley. You want to Mexican it up? Put in cilantro. All right, that's good. Nice and thick. I got a little bit more I'm going to put in. We're done with that. Put my steak. All right. Beautiful. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. In goes the corn. Look how bright and yellow, delicious this corn looks. Love it.
I love their corn. I've never been a canned corn person.
So you're going to nicely incorporate this. Okay, and you just want to warm the corn through. Obviously, it's already cooked. Turn my heat down just a little bit. At this point, I'm going to add the cream, if you're using it. Again, just like a tablespoon and a half. It's really not a lot.
Chris will get to your question in a minute.
Okay.
I'll let you finish up.
Okay. And then when this thickens a little bit, the heavy cream will thicken real nice. And if you're not using it, it'll still thicken a little bit, but heavy cream just kind of brings it all together for me. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Nice. And I'm going to finish it with some butter. Okay. Turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to swirl that butter in. This is how it's going to emulsify. I'm trying to take it off the stove so it's not making too bad of a noise. And you can see a beautiful sauce in here. I want you to take a look at this, what we've got here.
Yeah, so Mike Hopkins said he's not a fan of cream corn, but I want to say that it's not like cream corn.
So you can see, you know, what we always do here at the Grateful Chef. Does it hold the line? Show how thick it is. Beautiful. It's holding that line. And here you got your delicious cream corn. And we're going to let this sit on the side, and we're going to get to our steak. Nice. Want this to thicken just a little bit more. Evaporate a little bit more. And then, of course, we'll finish it. I'm going to garnish with a little parsley at the end. All right. Now, would you like to come back here? I'll tend to the corn, I'm going to put it on the back burner. We're going to move our pans over here. All right.
All right, so let me catch up with some questions.
Okay, let's do it.
One away from your steaks. He said, "Nah, Scott Glover, not cooking related, but what camera are you using?"
All right, we are using, pardon the noise. I'm using a camera called the Mevo. Been using it for years, with great success. It's a live streaming. I stream to a bunch of different places, and you can check them out on Mevo. They just came out with a new model. I've got the Mevo Plus, and yeah, it's really great. I love it. It seems like with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people using the streaming service. It's had a couple of issues, but the camera itself is fantastic. Corn's done. I might put it back on later to warm it up.
And
Yes.
Chris Follett, he said, "What time and temp are you doing with sous vide?"
So the sous vide I did 2 hours, and because it's dry aged steak, I started at about 115, and I decided to up it to about 120, because we're going to now put it in a ripping hot pan. And once I take it out of here, you'll see that it is like beautiful rare right now, edge to edge, and that's exactly what we want. But I wanted to, and I cooled it down to give us a little bit more leeway when I put it into our extremely hot pan, so I don't overcook it. So
We have Ephraim with us tonight.
Hey,
and
Ephraim.
Kevin McLeany. Did someone say steak?
nice.
And interesting question. We've got Kevin with us this evening. He said hello, and he said, "Hey, what happened to your Sancerre?" I think that's a great story.
Yeah, so I had a Sancerre, and I decided to donate it to a friend of mine, my friend Mike, who had a Thai restaurant, to make his life a little bit easier. And it sure did. So I donated my Sancerre, and figuring I didn't use it that much or whatever. The very next night, was it?
It was a few days later.
A few days later, I bought a raffle ticket at my Le Marmitons Club, and I won an ANOVA. So my generosity, paid off, So I was really happy about that. All right, guys, so here we've got, for those of you not familiar with how a sous vide steak looks, here we go. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
Is it too shiny?
Yeah, that's good.
So this is like a nice rare, very soft. I left myself some room. The fat is still basically intact because it wasn't a high enough temperature to really render out that fat. That'll happen when we sear it. And then here we'll compare to our regular dry aged steak.
And how many days age is it?
This is a 32-day prime ribeye, Costco. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to heat my pans up.
And I'll say that our normal for a ribeye is probably 38 to 42. But we needed some fridge space, so it came out early.
Yeah. I'm using carbon steel pans here. They handle heat very well. So I'm not putting it on super high, but it's going to certainly be hot enough to do a sear. All right, usually when I'm going to sear a steak, I'm doing just salt. I do the pepper later because I don't want the pepper to burn. But in this case, I'm using Horse Night Out, White Lightning, double garlic butter. It's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to help really make a nice crust.
I love this stuff.
I'm going to let it rain.
And we also have Jay Judge with us. He said he's got bad internet tonight, so...
Okay, Judge. Jay, it seems like
So
a bad mojo going on tonight because we had an issue too.
Lots of technical difficulties, but we're makeshift a little bit tonight.
All right, so I'm going to, of course, put the same exact seasonings on both of these steaks to keep things fair. That's awesome. I'm not going to do this one yet because I'm going to put this one in first. And when this one's just about ready, then that's getting the hard sear. So we're going to put we're going to put the fresh steak in the big pan. You guys got to help me remember that so I don't confuse them. Fresh steak, big pan.
All right.
All right. I am going to use a little avocado oil because avocado is super high temperature oil, 500 plus. So I like searing with a little avocado oil. And I don't want to put too much. I just want enough to give that, lube it up a little bit.
And we've got Perry Creamy. He said hi there.
Buongiorno.
And Chris called out, asked, what about the bath first, then the hot pan?
What's that?
What about an ice bath first, then hot pan?
Yeah, I just, again, I wanted to bring the temperature down just so when I do sear it, there's a little bit more leeway so you kind of can prevent from overcooking it. So, yeah, it's something I found on the internet, you know. I'll tell you, Meathead Goldwyn has a whole technique where he'll do that, ice bath it, and then throw it in his smoker. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to try it. This cooking's, you know, I'm just learning how to cook here, folks. You know.
Michael Lee Rosenthal, White Lightning B&O is legit.
Oh, that's great. All right, my pan is smoking hot right now. So we're putting in this fresh steak.
And I'm going to come over there and join you.
Yes, please. I'm going to get my steak weight. My little piggy steak weight. And let me tell you, I'm a flipper. I like to build the crust. So, oh, it smells awesome. It smells incredible. So I'm just putting a little steak weight on there. And of course, thermometer, very key. Make sure you don't overcook steak, especially when you're talking about dry aged steak. Dry aged steak cooks 25% faster than regular steak. So nice. So I'm going to again begin to build the crust. First, I'm going to be kind of cooking it first, and then building that crust. Let me get my olives in there. Go check it now. Look at that. Double garlic butter. Flipping it over. And yeah, and so we don't have the crust that I want yet, but that's going to happen over time. I want this steak to cook. And if I sear it hard and don't flip it over, it's a problem. Because then the outside will be cooked, the inside will be cold rare, and Lynn is a medium rare kind of gal. So we're going to do that. So the other thing about the ice bath, so when I sear this steak, the sous vide one, you're not going to have to let it rest like I will on this one. So this one will have to rest, let those juices kind of, you know, redistribute and cool down a little bit. It's a beautiful thing. We check our corn.
Scott Glover asked, what was the seasoning you just used? Can you grab the bottle and show it?
I cooked with these guys at the Memphis in May barbecue competition. Came in 6th place in whole hog last year. Boar's Night Out. This is their double garlic butter. They have the White Lightning, and then they also have their red rub. They tend to use this one as a pre-seasoning, like on a whole hog, and they do the red rub. This is amazing on everything. You can even make a sauce out of it. It's crazy.
Larry Palermo Jr. Going that low temp for a sous vide, is it safe? I sous vide a lot, and the group I'm in recommends higher temp of 131.
Yeah, you know what? The food safety window is 2 hours. Since I was doing the steak, it was just 2 hours. I was confident. So here you can see the crust on this side really starting to build. Can you take a look at that? Really nice. I'm going to put the weight on it. I'm going to give the lens just a little bit of white. Bear with us, guys. Woo! Because it looked a
All
little
all
foggy to
clean.
me. How's that better?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
What are you doing about the other steak?
I'm going to wait for this steak to cook a little bit more.
Ah, because it's a fresh steak. Sorry.
Yeah, because this is a fresh steak.
I obviously wasn't paying
Let's get
attention.
we're going to get a baseline right now. See where we're at. Sure, we got a while to go. Yep, so it's about 70 degrees. I want to go to about 125. So we're going to keep flipping and searing and flipping and searing. And if it gets too long, we'll do that other steak anyway. Right, honey?
Okay, we can always get the other steak, start to cut it, eat it.
Well, I want to do it side by side. That's the whole point.
We've got Rock Melisio. He said he's from Tampa, Florida. Just checking in.
Rock?
Yes.
Love the name. Thanks for joining us, Rock. I don't recall I've seen you here, so if it's your first time, welcome. Welcome to the wonderful world of Grateful Chef. Right here. Eat well, be kind.
He just got the t-shirt today, so he's pretty happy.
Yeah, very happy.
Mike Hopkins, what's the average of the press?
What?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Advantage,
Oh,
not average.
You know what? The advantage of the press is it just makes equal contact, the steak, onto the pan. You know, but sometimes you sear a steak and it's got like a bald spot in the middle. You know, this just gives you a little, some even. I don't even really need it with this particular steak. Sometimes
it's pretty flat.
If you got a ribeye, it's cut too thin, it'll cup up, and that's no good.
Kate Orderin said, looks amazing.
Thanks, Kate.
Scott Glover, great shirt. Greg Volte, not good to watch this when you're hungry.
No, definitely not.
Now picture this. You guys are watching it without the smell.
Oh yeah.
I'm standing next to him, and it smells good in here.
Sure it does. All right, we got this. So these steaks have a really wonderful spinalis, the most flavorful part of the cow, in my opinion. It's that piece. If you ever go out for prime rib, it's that piece on the outside that overcooks, but it's absolutely delicious. So yeah, this is my favorite part. It's got a beautiful spinalis on this particular cut. Love it. This was actually a Costco piece, and I really looked to see the marbling. It said phenomenal marbling in it. All right, we're gonna go put this other steak in right now. How's that sound?
Lovely.
Okay, a little bit of avocado oil. Make sure I have the right one. Get that nice hot, cranking. So this one I want pretty hot because I want done. One and done. This looks phenomenal. Let me do it with my thermometer. I'll give it another test. 112. Almost there, guys.
Woo! I'm hungry.
So it's still about 95 in the eye. I'm going to turn the temperature down. And we're going to season this one. This is the sous vide one. Double garlic butter.
And we got Jay Pepper. He said, hey, talk about using the bacon breath. Michael Garabian, he said, I can smell it here in Canada.
Mmm.
And he said, in another time, he'd be right here with us.
You sure would be, pal. But gee, we only have 2 steaks, honey.
Plenty of food here.
Alright, look at that. That's awesome. I'm just going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to let it do its thing. By the time this one's done.
Does the unaged steak need, sorry, they're both aged. Do they need to rest?
So the fresh steak will need to rest. So here we go. We're with a nice sear on this one.
Well, we don't have a fresh steak. We have.
No, we have a fresh steak.
That's fresh steak?
Yep. No, this is a dry aged, but not sous vide, a raw steak.
Raw steak. All right. So the raw steak needs to rest, but the sous vide does not.
Yeah.
All right.
And even the dry aged beef, it doesn't really, the myoglobin really doesn't come out much. Yep, this is about 99. It's still going. I'm going to keep flipping. That's what I do. Building that crust. Let's see.
We've got Greg Bolting that looks like a Nebraska beef.
It really does. Just the shape of it. I know what you mean.
And Scott Glover, I just did a ribeye with a porcini rub. I think you've done the same.
Yeah.
Porcini rub, and highly recommend. That thing is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And
You can see it's getting ready. It's starting to, the muscle's starting to pull apart. Now I got this pan off. The big one's the fresh one. Remember that.
big one is the fresh one.
Yep. Let's check this guy. Nice.
And Jerry Mahoney said he just got his Pro 40 yesterday.
Awesome,
And he needed to
Jerry.
order 150 New York strips from Braga for the last weekend. Hopefully it's their last time.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool.
Bro, the savings you're going to realize, unbelievable. With the savings, you can buy another Pro 40 and it's double time.
Larry Palermo Jr., what did you put in the pan with the sous vide steak?
I put just avocado oil. All right, so we've got a nice crust on this side. Going for it. Let me check the temperature. Yep, so I got 113, about 120. Spinalis, 125, we're almost there. So, yep, again, I'm just going to flip. I'm going to put it on my board. And I'm going to say this sous vide one is ready. Let me get a temperature.
Mike Arabian asked, hey, do you ship to Canada?
Still in the 90s.
Sorry, what's in the 90s?
This one?
All right. And Kevin suggested trying that mayonnaise sear. I don't think we've tried that one yet.
No, I'm not a big fan of hot mayonnaise. But I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put this onto our cutting board.
Should I come over to the cutting board, or are you good?
Let it rest.
All right.
Gonna take a little nap.
And we've got Todd Redmond. Hey, Todd.
Hey, Todd, congratulations on
Reopening.
reopening. Love it. Takeout, curbside only. Town Bar and Kitchen in Morristown, New Jersey. Go get them. Beautiful. All right, so now I almost screwed it up because I now put the sous vide one in
The big pan.
the big pan.
Unsous vide is resting.
Yes.
Taking a
Fresh
nap.
one is resting. It's almost done. We're almost there.
Yeah, because the anticipation is killing me.
Yeah. So I'm just warming it up so it's warm, not cold. So we're gonna go for it. We know it's cooked because it's sous vide. All right. Here we go, guys. All that off. Sous vide is on the left. With me as I take a photo.
We need a photographer.
We do. Absolutely need a photographer in here. Okay, guys.
I miss having our guests here.
Yeah, typically our guests.
Take pictures.
All right, so first thing I noticed, so the fresh steak, the muscles have started to separate a little bit, and the sous vide one is holding its own, holding together very nicely. All right, moment of truth. Which one should I cut first, honey?
They look different. Why?
Well, it's just because I flipped them over and this muscle's separating. Got a little bigger spinalis on that one.
That one looks moisture.
Moisture. All right, I'm going to cut into the sous vide one first. And what I like to do is, I like to cut the spinalis off because it's my favorite part.
And then hand it to me.
And then we will, I'll cut that into chunks. Let's see. So, one thing else I want to say: if you're in a household, two people, they like it two different ways. Say I like mine rare and Lynn likes hers medium. Cook it rare, and then once you slice it, then you can put those slices back into the pan, and they'll come up to temperature really quick. And so, I don't have to compromise eating it more well than I like it, and she doesn't have to compromise eating it less cooked. All right, this looks really great. So we're going to go into this. Nice crust.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm going to zoom in.
So this is our sous vide. Cuts like butter.
And Michael Lee Rosenthal, he said, thoughts on spike in meat prices and the supply chain.
I got friends that are reeling from it. I have a butcher buddy that, he's got the sales, but the distributors don't have the truckers. So
he was getting like
he was getting a truck a day, and now they're telling him, well, maybe I can come to you twice a week. So it's like a ripple effect. So here we got beautiful. I'm cutting the spinalis into slices. Usually it's chunks because the spinalis is usually much smaller than this. All right, but I'll let you guys take a look at that. Lynn might want to come in close. You can see the beautiful mahogany color of this spinalis from the dry aging, because that's on the outside, so it picks up a lot more of that dry age flavor. All right, so there we've got our sous vide steak, looking pretty stellar. And here we go with our fresh. I'm going to cut the spinalis. This has got an enormous spinalis. This is, a spinalis like this is almost unheard of. A little tail meat there. Beautiful. Let's cut into this guy.
And this is just the total stove top.
This is total stove top. And boar's night out.
Cast iron pan, all the way, no sous vide.
Look at how beautiful that is. So, yeah, see a little bit of a difference.
Are they the same temperature?
Yeah, they're virtually, basically the same temperature. This one, it seems like the striations in the muscle is more defined. I don't know. Maybe that's just something to do with it. With sous vide versus not sous vide. I don't know. And then we're going to cut this spinalis.
And Michael Garbian, incredible.
All right. Let's get this spinalis out here. I'm sure you guys are dying to watch me taste this. Get my opinion here. Beauty. All right. Get it over here so it looks all nice and pretty.
You can take another picture?
Sure. I blame Lynn.
Mike Hopkins, meat fat on wood.
Love it.
Meat fat on wood?
What about it?
I'm guessing, is that bad?
I don't know.
You have sanitation stuff that you use to
Yeah,
it all off.
I do. Are you suggesting that it's bad?
I don't know.
All right. Sorry, hate to have to do this with you guys live, but
it's a really pretty picture.
yeah, it is.
That's not...
All right, guys. Here we go. Grab my pepper. Put off my hood.
I just said that looks great.
All right. So we've got a piece of the sous vide on the left. Piece of the sous vide spinalis. It's like an exclamation point. And we'll do regular and they're both dry aged, remember. All right, first one I'm going for is the sous vide.
Has a cut.
Do a center cut. Cuts like you're cutting a steak. Nice chew. Nice beefy flavor.
Kevin McKay, I'm so hungry. And Jay Pepper.
All right, now I'm going to do the regular one.
Which do you like better?
I can't tell. I'm trying to see. So believe it or not, the pan cooked one is a little bit softer than the sous vide one. But I think that the sous vide one may be a little more juicy.
Interesting.
I don't want you, the sous vide one is not firm. It's just, it definitely has a different texture. They're both absolutely delicious. So here's my official conclusion.
Cook any way you like.
You can't go wrong with either way, either one of these. Now, I will tell you that with sous vide, I have done like a New York strip steak and not cared for it. So this is, we're talking about ribeye here. So the New York strip steak, I didn't care for the texture. So, and I believe Lynn didn't care for it either. But there's so many variables going on. How long was it dry aged? You know, how long did you sous vide it for? How thick was it? So there's a lot of variables. So yes, cook the way you want.
Yeah.
Both of these are both valid cooking methods. I love for people to know and be able to master cooking a steak in a pan and not always do it sous vide, so you can go with your mood, you know. But yeah, both of these are absolutely perfectly fine. Use the best quality meat that you can afford, and yeah, you'd have a great, great steak dinner.
And the steak ager makes everything better.
Lynn said it must be true. It is true. The Steak Ager Pro 40, phenomenal machine, works amazingly well. And I've got the dual mode, as you know, can do charcuterie too, which is equally as amazing. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us again. Trusting us to entertain at best, and maybe teach you something. And I certainly learned from you guys too, so I appreciate you so much. So, with that being said, be well, eat well, be kind, and I'll see you